Open your eyes before it's way too late. Today, we're going to go deep.
I ain't gonna give in now. I think I gotta live this now. I think gonna be when I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking him out when I'm back with the will. Cause I am just up on the journey. Just know that I'm just going to say.
Warriors, rise. Grand Rising Warriors, happy Friday or happy day if you're watching this in the future. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. What you believe in your heart and you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do or repeatedly see or repeatedly hear gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And all I'm doing is spreading awareness and information, basically taking the research that I do 8 to 9 hours a day, and I'm expressing it onto this amazing YouTube channel, okay? That's all it is. That's all it is, okay? It's facts, figures, numbers, logic that I'm finding within my truth, and I'm presenting it to you guys. So I'm going to show you some stuff today about the World Economic Forum. I've been super obsessed about the World Economic Forum, global leaders, and things that they're doing, and the things that have changed since 1971. Now, we've had some massive changes since 1990. Up into 1970. And around 1971, the World Economic Forum was created. Also, we detached from the gold standard. And there's been something weird happening in the last 50 years. Now, here's my perception of it. 50 years to us is a lifetime, but 50 years in the span of history, it takes that long to change a global monetary system. It takes that long to change society. It takes that long to do deep-rooted subconscious mind programming to move people the way that you want them to move. Remember, whoever controls the money, controls the information, controls the people. So since 1971, we have detached from the gold standard, allowing them to print money at will, 100%. And I'm going to show you some facts on how our debt has gone and where the net worth has gone. And I want you to ask yourself a question. So if you're the working class or in the working poor, which is probably a majority of us here on these calls, right? Excuse me, on this YouTube channel or watching this, right? I'm sure multimillionaires and billionaires aren't watching this channel. Maybe they are. Welcome. But what I want to share with you is we have the opportunity to break free. We have the opportunity. But what's happened is since they started to print money and debt was really, really cheap, they became a lot wealthier. Okay. So remember, they always cause chaos. They tell you what's coming. Then they cause chaos in the thing that's coming. And then they come up with the solution. Very simple. So let's hear it from the horse's mouth. So I showed you guys this video before, but I really want to just have you see it with your own eyes and listen to it, right? Those who have ears to hear will hear. And so when you listen to this is an interview with Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum. Remember, I'm not casting judgment on anybody. I'm just presenting the stuff that the news stations put out there, the World Economic Forum puts out there, allowing you to make an informed decision, right? But this is how I make my investment decisions. This is how I build my company. And I want you to think about this for just a moment. As a CEO of the 3T Warrior Academy and majority owner of the Warrior Academy, we own equity in 8 companies total. We are making decisions 10, 20 years down the road. That's what I'm doing right now. I have a board right here that is future. We're launching our NFT project that's going to be in the metaverse, all this stuff, right? All my companies are being built for the future. So you don't think that the people at World Economic Forum are getting together and talking years down the road. You don't think in 1971, they weren't talking about 50 years down the road about global changes when each fiat currency lasts about 100 years. So let's dive into this. So he kind of shoots back at Klaus Schwab and is like, what's up, man? The richest people in the world get together since 1971 and nothing's really happening. So listen to what he has to say.
That leaders meet in person as it helps create trust between them.
You see every day how the world is falling apart with the different crises which we have to manage. And you can exchange in small circles ideas, you can take certain decisions, but it was so important to bring the global community, the global stakeholder community together in person again, because it's only the personal interaction which creates trust or which recreates trust.
Isn't the reality, though, that everything that Davos stands for is on the verge of failure. Give you an example. Number one, the war in Ukraine. All the idea of some sort of common views on a European way forward. Number two, China. Unilaterally shut down, everybody else is open. Number three, we're failing on our climate targets. So what's the purpose?
First, Davos never has been as important as it is now, particularly for the reasons you mentioned. We cannot prevent the war in Ukraine. We cannot take away COVID and so on, but we can create coordinated responses to those challenges. And that's what we are doing. And those challenges need the cooperation of business, civil society, and of course, mainly politics.
Right.
Okay. So really, really important to listen to the words, okay? This gentleman's pushing back, and basically what he's saying, I love what he's saying. He's saying, listen, since 1971, you've brought, well, let's look at the list. You brought the list of global leaders, these global leaders. This is January, or this is 2022. The richest, most powerful companies and people in the world together. But all your agenda and the things you stand for never seem to change. But Klaus Schwab responds and says things like the C word, the beer virus, right? We can only respond to them. But in 2019, they had a pandemic prepared response drill. And then all of a sudden, we had a pandemic. Interesting, right? Bill Gates warned us that this was coming a long time ago on his TED Talk, and then it came, right? They warned us about climate change. The Pope started talking about climate change in 2018. Larry Fink in 2019 became the board of trustees to move the mission of the World Economic Forum. We went through the beer virus, right? And then all of a sudden that completely changed our lives. So everything that's happening within the physical world is moving us towards their agenda. Think about that for just a moment. Everything that's happening in the physical world is moving us towards their agenda. That's weird, isn't it? Aren't they supposed to be repairing these things and preventing these things? But they're reacting to these things. Do you see what I'm saying there? They're reacting to these things that are happening, but they're telling us they're happening before, right? Klaus Schwab said we should be ready for an angrier world, right? Jerome Powell said he's worried about the middle class getting wiped out towards technology. And now the middle class is getting wiped out towards technology. So they're just reacting and responding to the thing that they're telling us is coming. So think about that. So like this guy said, the wealthiest people, the biggest, look at this list. You can go through this list yourself. Accenture, okay? Some of the big companies that stand out here. AIG. We're talking billionaires, multi-million companies, right? We got all these companies. You got Bank of America is going to come up in just a second. We know Ripple, right? Look at Bank of America. These are massive banks, warriors. Bank of America, Barclays Bank. I mean, I can go down this whole list. Bloomberg, every BNY Mellon, BP, Bridgewater Associates, CBS News. We could go on and on. Chevron, Cisco, CNBC, all over this thing. Credit Suisse, CBS, Dell Technologies, Deutsche Bank. Look at this. You can just go down this list yourself, warriors. The richest, most powerful people in the world are here. We're not talking about this is just companies. Oh, well, the billionaires will be in here as well. You can go through the list. You can see. Okay, so we got the wealthiest people in the world coming together. This is the World Economic Forum's mission, okay? Our mission, the World Economic Forum, is an independent international organization. It's interesting. The Federal Reserve is independent, but controls our monetary system, our interest rates, and is supposed to balance out our job markets, but they're independent. They're not part of the government. Isn't that interesting? All these independent organizations are running our government. Think about that for just a moment. The World Economic Forum, independent organization, committee to improve the state of the world by engaging business, political, academic, and other leaders of society to shape global and regional industry agendas. Incorporated as a non-profit, not-for-profit, in 1971 and headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, the forum is tied to no political, partisan, or national. So basically everything you hear, just think opposite. Everything you hear. So it's not tied to any political, partisan, or national interest. basically think opposite. It is tied to political, partisan, and national interest. Okay. So this is what's happened since 1971. I'm just going to keep pointing this out to you guys, which you repeatedly do. Okay. So this is the Fed's balance sheet since 1971. Around, well, this is going back to like 2000. Sorry, but if you look at 1971, and then boom, around 2000 after the .com boom, it just shoots up dramatically. So the Fed's balance sheet just has skyrocketed. We know that I've shown you many times. Now, the balance sheet is there's so much money printed in the system, so the balance sheet has skyrocketed. Look at the global debt. This is the global debt. So since they turned the printing machine on, and I'm going to show you something more powerful, is they've turned the printing machine on and the global debt. So Americans, in America specifically, we are no longer in the American dream. We're trapped. We're all buried in debt. Everybody's buried in debt now, okay? What they did with the printed money is look at the balance sheet of the global economy. So this is the global balance sheet, has more than tripled in size in the past 20 years. Look at this. So this is financial assets held by financial corporations from 2000 to 2020. Look at that increase. Boom, right there. You see that? Financial assets held by household and governments and non-financial corporations. Look at that. So this is the rich getting extremely rich as the poor gets extremely, extremely poor. The wealth gap has increased dramatically. So what's happening here? Money has been very cheap for a very long time. They've been able to turn the printing machine on whenever they want. They've been able to bail out these large corporations, all these corporations that hang out at World Economic Forum. And so they've been able to move their agenda forward. Okay. So basically, we are heading to zero carbon. We are heading to net neutral. Cryptocurrency is going to be at your commercial bank. Companies like Ripple, these big companies are all going to be cryptocurrency custody banks. You're going to be able to do an Ethereum backed loan and maybe a Bitcoin backed loan, an asset backed loan at your local bank. You're going to have a digital currency, a CBDC, okay? And the whole monetary system is going to move over to a quantum field, new quantum financial system. This is what's happening. This is facts, figures, numbers, logic. So just like the gentleman said in the beginning, he said it. He's from CNN. They won't shut their videos down. But he said to him, he said, listen, what's up? You bring the richest people in the world together since 1971 and nothing's moved forward in your agenda. He said it. Nothing has moved forward in your agenda. Everything you guys talk about, there's chaos around it. He's telling us the plan. So you say you're going to work on something and then all of a sudden there's chaos. And then they come in with the solution. The solution is the new monetary system. It's the new supply chain. It's the new infrastructure. It's the new people put into the power structure. It's that simple. It's not that complex. So I always say, look this way. There's another narrative going on this way, and always do the opposite of what they say. I've been doing that since 2019, going into 2020. It's completely changed my life. So I just want to share that with you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Again, this is just my opinion. This is just stuff that I'm reading, and I'm just seeing the opposite happen all the time. Again, the richest people in the world get together every single year. If I was getting the richest people in the world together, we'd be solving problems. So that's what we plan to do. We plan to become some of the wealthiest people in the world, and we'll help people all over the world. So love you guys. Appreciate you. We'd love to have you in the 3T Warrior Academy, one of the fastest growing, loving, high vibration communities in human history. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.